So I want to talk about some Star Wars comic news, since TNT is currently actually playing all the Star Wars, well, 6 of the Star Wars films, of starting off with Phantom Menace, starting off tonight as of this recording. I wanted to talk about some Marvel comic news revolving around their Star Wars comics, namely the two shreds of news that we've gotten. The first being about the Yoda comic coming out. It's not really an ongoing, it's more like I think it's a one-and-done story. I'll get to that in a moment. The other thing is that Karen Gillan and I think Salvador LaRocca, I'm going to butcher that fucking name, I know it, they're teaming up again after their end of the Darth Vader comic, aka the best goddamn Marvel book out there. Seriously. I consider that Karen Gillan's Darth Vader as one of the best, not just Star Wars comics, but probably one of the best Marvel comics out there. And it really sucks that it's ending. Anyway, so let's talk a bit about I'm going to talk about a few things, really. First off, I'm going to talk about the Yoda story. Now, for those who are unaware, this is a story from Yoda's past, much like how in Star Wars they do these one-and-done stories centered around Obi-Wan after on Tatooine protecting young Luke. They've done a few of those stories, and I kind of figured they would do a Yoda story eventually. And this is a story from Yoda's past, which is actually that's kind of fucking cool. A story centered around Yoda in his time as a younger Jedi. Now, this is actually set about, I think they said somewhere around 30 years before the Phantom Menace. So this is a prequel, more or less, to that story, and I think it's really cool. Obviously, it won't be the definitive origin of Yoda, and I'm fine with that. I don't want an origin to Yoda, honestly. I want to keep him shrouded in mystery. All I need to know about Yoda is that he's the most badass Jedi, and the wisest of the Jedi Order, and really, that's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need from Yoda. Granted, I'm more of an Obi-Wan fan than Yoda, that's just me. But yeah, I'm fine with I'm down for a Yoda story. Yeah. I'd like to see it come back to it. And, yeah. I think that would be cool. Now, moving on to the other thing about Karen Gillan doing more Star Wars comics. They have announced after his Darth Vader comic and I'm pretty sure we're going to get more news about this, I guarantee it, that come New York Comic Con or sometime next week. Actually, I think New York Comic Con starts next week, right? I don't care. Anyway, so point being is that Karen Gillan has been approached to do, and he's going to be doing. I said the same fucking thing. I'm just not on it today, guys. You can clearly tell. But what is going on is that Karen Gillan will be doing another Star Wars book, but we don't know what it is. Now, me personally, I think I'm going to talk about the comic I think he's going to do, and I'll tell you why I think it would be so good to see him on this title, preferably this character, and why I think it's possible. I think Karen Gillan's going to be doing a Kylo Ren comic. I don't know if it's going to be a miniseries or an ongoing. It'd probably be a miniseries and then extend to an ongoing. Here's why I think it might. Here's why I think it might be he might be doing a Kylo Ren comic. Because it's still a villain character, and if you've seen his Loki and Darth Vader comics, then you know he's damn good at writing villains. Excuse me. Then, yeah, and I think, obviously with how well the Poe Dameron ongoing is well going, I think it's possible that we might actually get a Kylo Ren ongoing that is set. I wouldn't say, because there's literally 30 years you can play with before The Force Awakens. Now, I don't think we'll get a comic focusing around Kylo killing off the other Jedi in Luke's temple. I doubt we would get that. But what I am convinced we would get is like a short, at least if I think it'll at least be a mini-series of him hunting down the map to his uncle. That might be the case, is that it will be centered around a story. If it is Kylo, keep in mind we don't know what character it is. I'm pretty sure it's Kylo. I'm just saying I'm pretty damn sure it's Kylo. And I'll talk about the next character I think it might be. But yeah, I think, yeah, if you do a Kylo Ren story, just set it before shortly before The Force Awakens, and Kylo's searching for his uncle. He's just, I don't think it will be, because we'll see that in the movie, obviously, the next film, of him, of Ben betraying the other, the rest of the Order and killing everyone and siding with Snoke. I think it's probably going to be, what it is just, again, a goose chase a wild goose chase across the galaxy while he searches for the map that will lead to his uncle, and the comic will end right where the start of The Force Awakens, started. So I think it might be that. Again, I'm not sure, I'm just spitballing, and I think that's my strong feeling on it, is that I think it might be a Kylo Ren comic, and honestly, yeah, I'd really like a Kylo Ren comic. That's one of the characters I've really wanted to get an ongoing, or at least a miniseries. I mean, again, you basically had the Poe Dameron comic, which was supposed to be a miniseries, but I guess it did so well it's now an ongoing. And I think that's a possibility that we could actually get we could get a Kylo Ren comic, and yeah, it would be pretty freaking awesome. You can do all the other characters like Phasma, Hux, Snoke, all those other characters, and maybe get a little more of Finn when he was still a stormtrooper. Yeah. But anyway, that's just speculation. The other title I think he might be doing, if it's not Kylo Ren, it might be Maul. It might be Darth Maul. There's a lot of story for Darth Maul. You can literally do a comic book centered around Darth Maul and set it in between the last time we saw him in Son of Dathomir and the time we saw him in the Season 2 finale of Rebels. Yeah, you could honestly do an entire comic book centered around Darth Maul and talk about all of the events being led up to him going to Malachor. Yeah, you could do an ongoing around Darth Maul like that. Yeah. And I would be really cool with it. Again, we don't, a lot of people are speculating maybe Karen Gillan will do a Boba Fett comic. I'd be open for that. I really would. It's just that the other two I'm kind of thinking it might be the other two. Not ruling out Boba Fett, and I'm not ruling out any Star Wars characters, but if I had to guess the two strongest they would probably get him to do, it's either going to be Kylo Ren or Darth Maul. I'm not ruling out, Boba Fett and all these other characters. I'm just saying he's really good at writing villains. He did such a good job on Darth Vader. There's a good chance he'll probably do a kick-ass job on, Vader's grandson. I'm just saying. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of all this Star Wars news? What do you guys think of the Yoda comic? And what character are you hoping to see Karen Gillan work his magic on in the Star Wars universe? Do you think he'll be Kylo Ren? Do you think he'll be Boba Fett? Do you think he'll be Darth Maul? Or do you think he'll be like a good character, like one of the hero characters? Anyway, just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.